Okay. So, hello everyone. Welcome to our Horizen Weekly Insider number 44. Today is June the 11th, and happy Thursday to you all. Please remember that this call is being recorded. It's going to be available in our Horizon podcast. We're live streaming now on YouTube as well as in our Discord channel. And also, please remember to ask your questions on Menti with the code so we can have our regular Q&A session at the end. I'll welcome now Luca from the engineering department to give us the updates.
Hello everybody. Today we have multiple awesome news, so this weekly insider is going to be particularly exciting for sure. Plus, we have Alberto, Chief Architect, here with us today to tell us the latest about our upcoming Sidechain beta preview release. So, Alberto, I'll hand it over to you in a sec, and later I'll also mention some of the other topics on which engineering is working on. So, feel free to take it from here, Alberto.
Oh, sure. Thanks, Luca. Yeah, let me say, this is the week where we have reached the end of the main chain code review. So, as you know, in the last months, we have been working both on the SDK, on the main chain changes, on the Zendo libraries, and one of the let me say biggest elements in the last weeks we have been working on was the review of the main chain changes. This was a very let me say challenging part because a lot of things has been changed in the core for the introduction of the sidechains and everything that is correlated with the sidechain introduction. The code review took a long time. I mean, it was a lot of lines of code to be reviewed and a lot of new concepts that are now in our core. And this week we reached the end of this main chain code review. So, but in the meanwhile, we were doing the code review. Our engineering team was ready, proceeding also with the changes that we agreed during this code review. So, also these changes have been finished yesterday, and so currently we are working on reviewing the changes that has been asked. So we are targeting this week to finish also this code review, and so to be able to release this Sidechain beta preview by the end of this week. So as you can imagine, we have put a lot of effort in identifying the possible issues that were in these huge changes. So I mean, our goal was to come up with a good release candidate that assures a good level of quality for, let me say, to enable the sidechain developer to use it without troubles. So our main goal was to have a release of a quality product that, I mean, we would like that the Horizen community can be proud of. So in any case, obviously, it's a work in progress. We are still trying to, let me say, make it better and spotting issues, but even it would be great if also the community can help us, let me say, in identifying possible issues, use it, and even contribute to the possible fixes. So so this is the main point. I mean, this week we are going to release both the main chain changes. So we will have a Zendi release able to manage sidechains with zero knowledge proofs. So with the introduction of let me say all the transactions that are enabling the usage of sidechains, and moreover, we will release also the sidechain SDK. So in such a way, the developer will be able to to instantiate a new sidechain network and making it communicate with the main chain. So, for example, you will be able to bootstrap a new sidechain, send funds there, transfer funds within the sidechain, and then withdraw the funds in the main chain. So this would be, let me say, a huge milestone for us. And so that's it.
It's a lot of stuff coming all together.
Yeah, it is. Okay,
That's a great update, Alberto. Thank you for that, and very excited about the upcoming release. So everybody stay tuned also.
Thank you.
And thank you. Just 2 words about some of the other projects. So for the new Explorer to be used in main chain that will also see the existing sidechains, we finished the unit tests and we are completing the integration tests. Soon we will be able to switch to the front-end part where the UX team is also going to help with the design. And also we are already working on the next Sphere by Horizen version. We started working on 3 different things related to general maintenance, but there will be more, so soon we will announce the precise contents and also the release date for that. That's all from engineering, so I'll pass it back to Angie.
Let's continue now with Alan for some node updates.
Hi everyone, I just have a quick update on the tracking servers. We had some outages last week in the North American servers, that they were down for a few hours, but everything failed over to the European ones and the load was handled, so everything looks good there. Had another outage yesterday on the European ones, and one server was actually down for 24 hours, so we're working with our hosting provider to figure out what happened with that and what we can do to mitigate those issues in the future. Other than that, we still have a number of updates that are still in the review process and will be addressed once we have a little bit more time to be able to prioritize that. Back to you, Angie.
Thank you, Alan. Let's continue with Spencer for the Helpdesk updates.
Happy Thursday, everyone. Welcome to the users who are joining us today. As usual, this report is also being posted on the Weekly Insider Companion channel. Briefly, statistics, 65.3 of the tickets were falsely related, 34.7 of the tickets were for other issues. Our most prominent falsehood issue were difficulties experienced by users who had engaged VPN services or proxies in an attempt to obscure their identity and/or location. While Horizen is strongly supportive of individual privacy, the educational mission of the falsehood would be destroyed by rampant abuse if we did not have protections that began with forbidding connection with a VPN. Our most prominent Sphere by Horizen issue, again, instruction on the seed recovery of a wallet. Users were receiving instructions on wallet recovery via their 24-word backup phrase, almost always successfully. Users are simply not reading the manual. We are planning to create more digestible content that addresses these user issues as they are revealed by the Helpdesk tickets. One out of the ordinary thing, on June 9th, a website was posing as Horizen Global with a different domain. We became aware of this imposter website, which was cloned from Horizen.global. It was distributing a malware-infested version of Sphere by Horizen for Windows. Some pains had been taken to tamper with JavaScript components of the site, as well as obscuration of those changed files. Multiple members of the UX team filed takedown or DMCA notices with the domain registrar and web host, in this case, the same entity. Mac went the extra mile and actually tracked down the TLDR for the space domain, spoke to a real-life human being, and impressed upon him the seriousness of the situation and the potential damage done to Horizen's reputation if this site were allowed to continue to exist. The domain was withdrawn and the site removed in less than 24 hours. That concludes the report from the Helpdesk.
Thank you, Spencer. Let's continue with Gustavo for the UX updates.
Hey everyone, happy Thursday. So regarding the faucet and soon community hub, we are working on the next item in line, which is adding forum integration to the community hub. So we also been working in HD in preparation for Sidechain beta preview. Everything is going as planned. And we are also working on setting up a faucet for Sidechain beta preview. And another thing that we are working, it's the homepage redesign, also in preparation for Sidechain beta preview, and the site is looking amazing. So congrats to Linda and Lucy for providing the designs. And yeah, it's exciting times and lots of milestones ahead. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Gustavo. Let's continue with Rowan for the BD updates.
Hello, everyone. So not a vastly different update from me this week from what I was talking about last week. Most of the projects that I'm working on at the moment are longer term, so it'll be kind of small iterative updates rather than anything kind of brand new. First thing I'm working on is assisting Rosario and the rest of the engineering team and marketing team with some developer outreach. I'm not going to go into much detail there because I'm sure Rosario wants to talk about that in her section. But this is essentially us prepping for Sidechain beta, getting as many people gathered round and interested in seeing what we've built and starting to actually make use of it as physically possible. Also working on a variety of different Sidechain use cases. Conversations on that front are getting more and more exciting every day, and definitely looking forward to going loud with some of the work we've done on that front in the following weeks. My biggest task at the moment, which is still in the early days, is to basically try and supercharge adoption of Zen by merchants. I mentioned this last week. Where I'm at just now is that we've done the initial brainstorming. I've started to map out what types of incentives we need to persuade users to part with their Zen for a start, to persuade merchants to start accepting it and take the volatility risk that comes with that, and also to start thinking about the requirements in terms of infrastructure to actually make the entire ecosystem work properly. So we've kind of mapped out where we need to get to, and now the next stage is to figure out exactly how we're going to make that possible and start pulling in the required resources, and then ultimately start executing and pitching to a variety of different merchants. So pretty excited about that. Got a lot of potential, should be good fun, and should provide a good amount of utility for everybody that's holding Zen daily. Beyond that, still doing a little bit of work on the adoption front with Rolf and Maurizio, but really can't take any credit there at all. Haven't had enough time to really get dug in. So Rolf has pretty much done most of the work there with some support from Maurizio. And then on the exchange outreach front, I'm sure everyone's been paying attention to social media. Last week, we announced CoinSpot, an Australian exchange that allows purchase of Zen with Australian dollars. So super cool integration there. And then yesterday, I'm sure everyone's seen Coinbase announce that they're exploring the addition of Zen into their retail exchange, which is fantastic news for us. It doesn't by any means mean that Zen is definitely going to be listed. So let's just be aware of what they actually said. What they said is they're exploring. We know that we've done everything the right way, and we know that we can meet the criteria, and we're obviously here to support and help with that exploratory mission they have. But for now, that's as much as we know. Certainly exciting, certainly something that I want to see happen, and certainly something the entire Horizen team and community support. That's pretty much it from me at the moment. I'll pass over to anyone else in the BD team that wants to jump in with an update. Thank you.
Hello everyone, Vano speaking from Georgia. So I have good news for our Russian language community today about our academy content. Originally, our academy has been written in English, obviously, and it's fully available in Spanish and French also. But in Eastern Europe, we have people who know English in addition to Russian, which is quite widespread here. But we also have a lot of Russian-only speakers or people who don't know English but know Russian, which includes quite a lot of people in elderly ages. So we started to translate our explain like IM5 and beginner content for our Russian language community. And this content will be posted at 4 o'clock Hub. The first post, first post covers part of Eli 5 content, and I have just dropped the link in the Weekly Insider channel. And that's all from me, and back to you, Angie.
Thank you, guys. Let's continue now with Lucy for the marketing updates.
Hello, everyone. Sorry about that. I had to find the tab. Well, happy Thursday. I'm really super excited about the upcoming Sidechain release. This is something our engineering team has been working very, very hard, for a long time, and then I'm just really excited that it's coming, and then also super happy about the fact that Coinbase is considering listing Zen on their exchange. So indeed, a lot of exciting news for sure. So in preparing for the official release of our Sidechain beta, we released a call out to all Java developers last week to join our early adopter program and getting early and exclusive access to our Sidechain beta before the official release. So developers who are accepted into the program will be the first ones to use our new Sidechain Beta SDK, and then they will receive exclusive invitation to our Sidechain Beta preview as well as SDK demo webinar. They will be playing a very important role in the final development phase of our beta by providing critical feedback on usability and functionalities. This will really help make sure that we can better refine our products before the official release. So we have already received over 100 Java developer applications so far, and then the acceptance is still open. So if you are also a Java developer and are interested in getting the early insight and hands-on experience using our Sidechain beta, then you definitely want to sign up for our early adopter program. Okay, so and then also last week we announced our winner for the our third anniversary competition, and congratulations to 7, not 6, 7 winners, because we have a tie to our competition, and we are going to send them prizes, and then also thank you everyone for participating in celebrating this event. And then also we will announce new arrivals and also summer sale on our store. So it will be a good chance for everyone to get some Horizen swag and getting ready for all the exciting announcements and releases coming up very soon. Just a friendly reminder that because of COVID and the shipping and fulfillment is experiencing some delay from our store, but don't worry, your order will definitely arrive, and if you have any issues or any questions, you can always send us email or send us a message on Discord or social media, and we will help solve it out. And that's it from marketing. Thank you.
Hey, Lucy. Hey, everyone. So on my end, on the growth side, so as Gustavo mentioned, we're working on the forums. So that's the next big milestone that everyone should be looking out for, is forums on getzen.cash. And it sounds kind of simple, but it's actually a little bit more complicated, because the forums have to be able to tie in with all of the other fun stuff that we have planned in the Community Hub roadmap. So just one example, have to be able to tie in with the badge system that we're developing, and badges are based on things like participation. And so we have to map all of this out, but that's our next major milestone. And Gustavo, I don't want to give any timelines, but I think that sooner rather than later. So we're all very excited about that. We really want to have a place where people can come and talk about Zen, talk about blockchain, talk about privacy in a setting that's safe, in a setting that's supportive, and in a setting that's just generally encouraging and reflective of our really technical and supportive community. So this will be a great place to do that. In addition to that, we're also looking at some language options. So one of the things we've learned is that we make so many changes to the faucet, and soon the community hub, which will be needed, and it's tough to keep up manually translating everything into many different languages. So we're looking to automated options, and that's something that we should see a solution to within the next 2 weeks. So that's really great for all of our community members who write in that they don't have up-to-date translations, which is really painful for me to hear when there are so many options out there. And then lastly, we have moved away from HCAPTCHA back to reCAPTCHA on getzen.cash. We did that because of overwhelming community feedback. So the changes have been made, and just wanted to let everyone know that we do listen, especially to feedback when it seems like everyone who uses the faucet is telling us this was a bad idea. So the change has been made, and thank you for your feedback. And that's all I have this week. Thanks.
Thank you, Jonathan and Lucy. Let's continue with Rosario for Product and Engineering.
Hi guys, this is Rosario. So we are entering an exciting new phase, which is culminating 2 years worth of R&D performed by a team of 15 high-quality engineers. And I can't emphasize this enough with our team and the inputs that was provided at first with Alberto. So a big congratulations to the engineering team for having a release candidate of our scaling sidechain solution, Zendoo. So Zendoo, we will have first implementation of Zendoo, and that is very, very exciting for our project. As we will have a product that is specifically targeted for developers, we are entering with this new phase, targeting developers to build on our ecosystem. So we've defined our initial developer outreach strategy with the help of everyone on our departments, and I've been coordinating with every department within our organization. And part of that developer outreach is to have a launch of the Horizen Early Adopter Program, which Lucy alluded to. And this will give developers access to not only our developers giving feedback, but then the ability to test our SDK and be the first ones to give us feedback. So I'm very, very excited for this. And this is also going to roll out shortly after with HDE, which is our Horizen developer environment. So as you can see, we have a lot of individual pieces that are coming together with the focus of building our developer ecosystem. And of course, I've been working closely with marketing on messaging, and shout out to marketing because they have a lot on their plate, and it's usually a thankless effort to have all of this. So thank you for putting our messaging together. And on a separate note, I'm already working with the engineer project manager, Luca, to identify tasks that will come after beta preview, and then shortly after we'll have beta, and then what comes after beta. So we are already looking into the horizon of what's coming next with this upcoming initial implementation of Zendoo. That's it for now, guys. Congratulations.
Thank you, Rosario. Rolf, would you like to add any comments or updates?
Yeah, I would. One of the things, as Spencer was talking about assisting users, is that we've gradually here over the last few years built an incredible system to onboard new users to the whole world of crypto through the path of Horizen. And with the faucet and the marketing, we bring people in, we let them use a really good wallet, Sphere, which has the HD address creation with a 24-word recovery phrase. And then some people have a problem with their wallet, and they recover their wallet, and they can see how everything's actually on the blockchain. It's not in their application. And this may seem like a little thing, but the steps that we go through to do this, especially with the support on the wiki and the support with the support desk, we must be helping hundreds, if not thousands, of new people come into the crypto space. So we're doing important work in this process. Quick note, Rowan alluded to this about the study of different ways for people to use our main chain if we can assist that. So I want to give a high-level overview of where we're heading. Almost done with that study and report. Have to do a little bit of writing still. But in looking at how people are using cryptocurrencies these days, a lot of people are using them for a way of keeping track of their progress and success in games. And so there's many different places that this is being done. This is where a lot of the use is happening. So, and it's also a great way to bring people into crypto. So a way for us to do that, looking at what we do and talking with a number of different people, longtime Horizen community members and team members, is to make sure that we have libraries in different programming languages that make it easy for people that want to do software development for lightweight wallet functions like sending and receiving and things like that in different languages that game developers, specifically mobile game developers, may want to use. Languages like JavaScript and C# and Java and Kotlin and Python and things like that. Now my idea, and I don't know if this is important, I would love to get feedback, is to take those general purpose lightweight wallet libraries and extend them to make them game integration libraries. I don't know if there's additional things that would be helpful for game integrations, but I think there would be. And this would enable independent game developers to allow Horizen to be integrated in places where this is legal, of course. So, and then we need to discuss, okay, where would those libraries be located? Would it be best to put them in the Zencash official or the Horizen developer environment or in Horizen community council environment or wherever? And what's the support that we would need to make sure that those are good libraries? But anyway, that's the direction we're leading. And congratulations on the upcoming release of the sidechain. That's huge. Thanks. That's what I got.
Thank you, Rolf. And now let's move on with Rob for the final part and the Q&A session.
Thank you, Angie. And Rolf, I love that update. Thank you for that. It goes into some of the things I'll mention here, but ultimately it comes down to, are we going to be a useful blockchain or not? I think the answer is overwhelmingly going to be absolutely. It's just we have a lot of work to still make that happen. Okay, so Rowan covered my first point. No need to belabor it, but just wanted to clarify to the community, the Coinbase announcement yesterday on their blog was fantastic news. The fact that we are one of 18 projects that are going through due diligence for listing on their retail exchange is really good news for the project, and it reflects just the maturity of this ecosystem as we've grown. And as there's demand from different elements of the ecosystem to see Zen on Coinbase, that ultimately plays into their decision. So what I can say about Coinbase is that they are an absolutely top-notch professional team, and they certainly operate by the motto of loose lips sink ships. So they're very, very professional about not leaking information, especially to the core team of a project. So I respect them quite a bit for that. So what we can do on our end, and this is something that regardless of Coinbase, we just do anyway, is we need to continue to build our fundamentals, continue to get our cutting edge technology out there to market, continue to innovate, continue driving real world demand for using our network. And this goes to exactly what Rolf was saying, and I really like that gaming angle, Rolf. I think that's such a good way of looking at it. So what we're trying to do is see what products do we have now. We have a cryptocurrency, we have a very large and functioning, persistent blockchain network. So what can we do with it? What's out there? What are people using blockchain for today? And what of that market could we segment out and start driving demand for Horizen? So that's what that study is all about. And I really look forward to seeing the results and actioning those results. Now on the Zendu side, this is really the huge news for the project. And thank you very much, Alberto, Rosario, and Luca for giving us some information on that. This is a huge development for us. We talk about it all the time. So for those just joining, this is our big cutting edge innovation. This is our big product that we're bringing out there to make Horizen a useful platform. One that scales significantly beyond just the work that we do as a team. And that's the key here. And what this means for us at a practical level is now we're kicking off a huge effort for developer community development, dev community dev. So this is really important. It's something that we haven't really been pushing hard in the past because the focus was on building the tools and building the platform to make it actually useful and rewarding for developers to come in. Now, as of next week, when we have the Zendoo beta preview being published, now we have, for the first time, these very important tools that we're actually releasing out there to the community. And this is going in combination with all of our Marcom, all of our marketing communications, is shifting heavily towards developer outreach. Now, we're building an entire program here. Lucy's calling it HEAP, the Horizen. What was that for? Horizen Engineering. I forgot what the acronym was, Lucy. Please jump in if you want to clarify that. But it's a huge coordinated effort across all divisions of this organization to make sure that we're providing the capabilities, the tools, any kind of resource, whether that's tangible or intangible, and just really opening access to our team to make sure that we have a productive environment for developers to come in. And goal number one, just use our SDK. Launch the sidechain, go through the process, and then goal number two, actually get some intelligence out of that. So what we want, ideally, like I said, step one, just launch the SDK or use the SDK to launch your own sidechain. That's great. We want as many developers as possible to do that. But goal number two then is to actually get useful intelligence out of that we can action to improve our system. So that's what we have ongoing. We're going to kick it off with a whole bunch of coordinated campaigns, things from hackathons to these developer competitions that we mentioned, and we're going to resource them significantly. The resources for this are like I said, the tangible and the intangible. On the tangible side, and I think this is really critical, is we are going to be putting actual monetary resources, Zen, towards developers that are going to deploy our SDK, launch sidechains, and then more resources, more bounties going to those that actually provide substantive comments and feedback or improvements. And we'll have tiered bounties for the level of contribution that you make. But what we want to do here is we want to reward an absolutely critical stakeholder group within our ecosystem to bring them in, make them productive, offer productive opportunities once they're in the ecosystem, support every single level we can. This is going live in combination with the Horizen Developer Environment, HDE, where we're going to be curating other opportunities for developers to go beyond just the sidechain system. One really good example that Gustavo brought up earlier in the week, and Gustavo, sorry I haven't closed the loop with you on it, but I think it's such a great idea to offer something like the ability to email Zen to people. So just send Zen to someone based on their email address. And there are tools out there in other blockchain communities that make this possible. So being able to adapt these tools to Horizen, I think, is just such a low-hanging fruit that could really help with our growth. That's just one example of things that go beyond sidechains or just different from sidechains that we can and should be doing with HDE. And we have to provide resources. We have to provide bounties. This is the big shift for us as a project. Okay, so what else? So let's see. I guess just in conclusion, guys, this is the end of a very long road, but I would say the end of the beginning for the Horizen project. We've taken 3 years to get to this point, and it's a really important point because now we can finally open up the project to other engineers, other developers to start doing things to build our ecosystem that go beyond just our team. If we look at this strategically, we cannot scale if it's our team that has to do everything. Now, in the past, we've been very hands-on in doing basically everything ourselves, with the exception of some outsourcing, with the exception of some other relatively minor contributions. So because we didn't have the infrastructure, whether that was in-house resources to monitor what's going on with external contributions, or bounty resources that could lead in a fruitful direction. Now, by that I mean a fruitful direction that goes beyond what we're doing in-house. So we have this Zendoo system, which is such a huge release for us, and we have every intention of making use of it to the maximum extent possible. So like I said, this is the end of the beginning, but now the real fun starts. So I'll stop here. I heard we have some really good questions from Menti coming in, so I'll open it up to that, Lucy.
Oh, yes. Good questions as always. And then also, HEAP stands for Horizen Early Adopter Program. And I love how Thredo said here, HEAP for the leap. Thank you, Thredo. Okay, so the top one, number one question is first sidechain app design decided? If yes, will dev resources start working on anytime soon?
So, Alberto, I don't know if you want to talk about the simple app that's being included in the SDK, but in terms of community Community built apps? No, we haven't done anything there yet. But maybe Alberto, you want to give some context on Simple App.
Oh, yeah, sure, Rob. Okay, the SDK will include a sample application that let you perform the basic operations on the Sidechain. So you will be able to manage funds and exchange coins within the Sidechain, and moreover, there would be the documentation that let the developer understand how to extend the sidechain. So, for example, introducing his own data and logic. So, so the quick answer is yes. We will include in the SDK a sample application, but I don't know if the question was related to the to these, or if a specific sidechain was this question.
So yeah, good point. I'll address the other specific sidechains. So in terms of these big infrastructure sidechains that we're talking about, so we've got a few things. We've got Simple App in the SDK. That's really just a tool set for developers to be able to extend to their own applications. We've got the community competitions that are upcoming, and those just haven't kicked off yet, but they will in short order. And then we have these big infrastructure sidechains that we've been talking about, things like the community voting system or the Treasury DAO. These have not been decided yet. So where will we focus? The next heavy engineering effort on our infrastructure, still TBD, but we're learning more every day, especially as we bring Zendu to market.
Thank you, Rob and Alberto. So the second question is, how do you see your sidechain tag versus Ethereum 2.0?
Alberto, please, we would love to hear from you.
Okay, I was waiting. Okay, I think that completely two different things. So, but let's focus on what we enable. So, we enable a developer to create a specific blockchain application with specific data, specific logic, completely independent from the main chain. So it's not meant strictly as a scalability, parallel chain. It's meant as a parallel blockchain application that could have any kind of logic, any kind of, data. So there are two different things, and so for example, you were mentioning some of the use cases before, Rob. For example, the treasury, we can have a sidechain that is capable of managing projects and proposal of projects from the community and voting of the projects and then redistribution of the funds based on the project on the voting. And this is something that could be implemented as a parallel sidechain. So and the developer can use the SDK to add the logic that is needed for introducing these, for example, the project and the vote and all the elements that are necessary to calculate at the end of the epoch, let's say, the redistribution of the funds. So this is our approach about sidechain. So back to you, Rob.
Thank you. Thank you, Alberto. So last question, when do you think independent or average Joe sidechain application creator will be able to create projects? What is required for that to begin?
My answer would be with beta, but Alberto, maybe you would have a little bit more nuanced of a response there.
Yeah, sure. For sure, beta will be the first, moment where a developer can start using the SDK and extending it with his own logic and data. So the quick answer is beta for sure. During the next months, we are going to add additional functionalities to the system. I mean, for example, the withdrawal request directly from mainchain. But from a developer point of view, this is not going to change almost anything from his side, because it's something that will be added as additional transactions that are going to be introduced in the mainchain. So from the developer point of view, I would say that beta is the right moment to start looking at the SDK and trying to approach it and develop specific application.
Cool, thank you. Just a reminder that we will also have webinars for developer, to have a product demonstration, and then we will also have developer to engineers to answer any questions that community developers may have. So all of those will be very helpful for beginners as well. And that's it. Thank you. These are the top 3 questions for today's Weekly Insider. We will post rest of the questions and answers on the Weekly Insider chat channel on Discord. And if you are listening on YouTube, you can ask your questions in the comment section. So thank you and stay safe. Back to you, Angie.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone, for being here once again and for the new ones as well. And I hope to see you on our next Weekly Insider. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks,
Thank you,
everyone.
everyone.
Take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye bye.